I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up.
I've been eating just fruits for over 2 years now. And man, I've been going down this rabbit hole of cannibalism, and it's so deep. I've also been receiving some tremendously powerful insights on just people who eat flesh and blood. And so I posted a reel. I think I posted it on YouTube too. I know I posted it on Facebook and Instagram. And I was talking about, what does eating flesh and blood represent? We're not going to use any euphemisms. That's a new word that I learned. And that's what flesh and blood eaters do. They use a lot of euphemisms because they're too ashamed and embarrassed to just admit what they eat. They're too ashamed and embarrassed to just call it what it is. So they use euphemisms like meat and pork and steak and chicken and beef and hot dogs and bologna and ham and chicken nuggets, and all of these are euphemisms. It's rotten flesh. It's blood. It's parasites. It's feces. And then there's the vaccines and the antibiotics and the growth hormones and the drugs, the humectants, the carbon monoxide, the nitrates, the nitrites, and more. This is what they're eating. But they use these euphemisms like meat and chicken and hot dogs and all these different things. Because if they called it what it really is, they would eventually stop eating it. Because eventually they will realize how stupid they are for eating it. But what does eating flesh and blood represent? This is so deep. Eating flesh and blood represents violence. It represents hate. It represents murder. It represents a lack of compassion, a lack of mercy, a lack of empathy. It represents and embodies every form of evil that you could think of. Because in these industries, they don't just kill animals. They also rape them. They also steal their babies and kill their babies. The people who eat flesh and blood eat their babies. They steal their milk and then they sell it to other humans for profit. So the industry doesn't just represent the violence and the murder. It also represents rape and thievery. So now, understanding what these industries represent and embody, everyone who eats flesh and blood, they're supporting the violence. They're supporting the hate. They're supporting the rape. They're supporting baby stealing, baby killing. They're supporting the stealing of these animals' milk. They're supporting the thievery. But wait though, because this gets really deep. In this reel, I was talking about how voting doesn't matter. You go to the polls to vote, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything. Like, they give anybody the right to vote. You don't even have to take a test to vote. You got to take a test to get your driver's license. Matter of fact, you got to take 2. You don't even have to take a test to vote. And it's supposedly the most important decision regarding this country. The only criteria is that you're 18. Is that right? 18 or 21? And you don't have any felonies. But the fucking felon is a president, so that shouldn't even matter no more. But you understand what I'm saying? They let any fucking body vote. That's how you know your vote doesn't matter. But we're all voting every day by how we spend our money. And this is the vote that matters. These are the votes they're paying attention to, because wherever the money goes, they're going. Like they don't have any attachment to anything they're a part of, any industry they're a part of. Their attachment is to money. That's all they care about. They love money. And wherever the money's going, they'll change their entire business to follow the money. All of these industries, these businesses, these corporations that's killing all these billions of animals a year, if the money started going to fruit, they would start growing fruit. They would stop killing animals. They would start buying farmland and planting watermelon and planting fruit trees. That's what they're looking at. That's what they pay attention to. So every day, the way we spend our money is telling them what kind of world we want to live in. This is deep. We live in the world that we live in today because the majority of people said this is the kind of world they want to live in. So when people buy flesh and blood, when they buy these cut up body parts, what they're saying by how they're spending their money is that they want to live in a world full of hate. They don't want to live in a world full of love. They don't want to live in a world full of peace. They want to live in a world full of violence. They don't want to live in a world full of happiness. They want to live in a world full of misery. They don't want to live in a world full of joy. They want to live in a world full of depression. They don't want to live in a world that has high regard for life. They want to live in a world with no regard for life. They don't want to live in a world full of compassion and mercy and empathy. They want to live in a world with no compassion, no mercy, and no empathy. They don't want to live in a world where we're free. They want to live in a world where we're enslaved, where we're locked in cages, where we live in prisons. See the connection? Because whether you understand this or not, whatever we do to animals is going to be done unto us. However we treat animals is going to be done unto us. It's like animals are the test. However we treat the weaker species among us is how we're going to be treated. And so as a society, we take advantage of the weak. We abuse them, we torture them. We have no respect for them, and we just treat them any old kind of way. And the majority of not just this society here in the United States, but the majority of the world supports this. The majority of this world is voting for this type of world with their dollars. This is the only thing that matters. You know, people talk about change in the world and world peace and all these things. The only way that'll happen is we have to vote for that with our dollars. That means we would have to stop, all of us, like as individuals, each one of us would have to choose to stop buying these body parts, stop buying flesh and blood. When you stop buying the body parts, you stop buying the flesh and blood, you stop supporting these industries. And if enough people did that, they're going to want to know, okay, where's the money going? Because that's where we need to go. Let all them animals go. We need to start growing fruit. If people start eating vegetables, we need to start growing vegetables. What are they eating? Broccoli, cauliflower, whatever. Start planting it. That's all they care about. We live in a world that flesh and blood eaters created. They're just giving people what they want, and the majority rules. There's not enough people eating fruit for us to have a voice. There's not enough vegans out there for them to have a voice, although they are being heard. Vegans are being heard because industries, restaurants, they're starting to carry vegan options now. There's about 3 million of them. Their voices are being heard. You see what I'm saying? Companies are adapting because they see money is going towards vegan options. They want that money. So they're going to create vegan options. I know there's some of these not fast, I can't say that, but there's traps like, I don't know, McDonald's, Burger King, I don't know. Somewhere I remember hearing of one of these traps, or maybe a few of these traps, having vegan options. They're going to go where the money goes. So the majority of us are saying we support the killing of animals. We support violence. We support murder because they're funding it. Out of every paycheck, they're funding the murdering of animals. They're funding the torture and the abuse and the violence and the hate. This is so deep. Are you getting this? The error of people who eat flesh and blood is that they think that this violence, this torture, this abuse, this murder, this rape, this thievery is just going to stay with, these certain animals. They don't understand the spillover. It doesn't matter where you put that energy. Just the fact that that energy is being put out into the universe means it's going to be multiplied and returned back to us. And that same energy permeates our society. It doesn't just affect non-human animals like the cows, the pigs, the chickens, the sheep, the lamb, the turkeys. It affects all of us. People who eat flesh and blood are the evil in the world. They are responsible for all of the evil in the world. And it's mainly because they have the large numbers. It's billions of them. That's the voice that everyone is listening to. That's deep. And so nobody who eats flesh and blood can complain about shit. When these mass school shootings are happening and, I don't know, whatever's happening in the news, the police brutality, these children ended up missing, women, kids being raped and molested, whatever atrocity you could think of that's happening to human animals, it was first funded by humans to be done unto non-human animals. We vote for these things to be done to pigs and cows and chickens. It's gonna be done unto us as a collective. This is so deep. The flesh and blood eaters are the problem with the world. And the problem is that they support violence and killing and murder and torture and abuse. They pay for it. They finance it. They pay these killers salaries. So that was just, whew. I know I repeated myself quite a bit, but wow, that's just so powerful. It's like all of these stories you see on the news is the karma of how people treat animals or non-human animals, because we're all animals. We belong to the same kingdom as these pigs, these chickens, these horses, these cows, these sheep, these lamb, these goats that they're killing by the hundreds of billions every year. Those are like our brothers and sisters. That's our family. And so, like, do you see that everything that's being done unto them is being done unto us as a species? And it always has been. Since the beginning of humans eating the flesh and blood of animals, because we're not flesh and blood eaters. We're not carnivores. We're not omnivores. There's no debating that. Humans don't even like the way that shit tastes. There's no human that likes the way flesh and blood tastes. That's why they do so much shit to it, to change the way it tastes so they can eat it. Now, my son has a dog. Her name is Bella. And for the moment, that's what I've been feeding her. She eats raw flesh. I'll just buy a pack of something and just give it to her. She has never asked me if I could put some salt and pepper on it. Can I put some hot sauce on it? Can she get some barbecue sauce? She devours it. And the reason humans don't is because they don't like it. And they're just too full of shit to just say that. So there's nothing to even talk about when it comes to that. So we have no business as a species killing all these animals and eating them. The reason people are doing that has nothing to do with our nutritional needs. It has everything to do with profit and greed. It's all about the money. Some of us see animals. We see sentient beings. We see life. The evil among us just see commodities. They just see a bag of money. They see an opportunity to get rich. Has nothing to do with these lies about us needing protein, which we do need protein, but we don't need protein from a cow or a chicken or a pig. Those proteins aren't even compatible with our bodies, because protein is body specific and it's individual specific. That means none of us have the same protein requirements or protein needs. A cow doesn't eat animals for protein. A cow's body creates protein from amino acids, and a cow's natural diet of grass would supply all the amino acids its body needs to create all the proteins its body needs. But a cow's body is creating protein for its specific body. That protein is not interchangeable, not even with another cow. And humans have been sold the lie that we need to murder these animals and eat their flesh for their protein. That's why so many humans among us are sick right now from eating that protein, just like from drinking that milk. You eat amino acids, and your body will create the proteins that it needs to function properly. There's thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of different proteins in the body. No one even knows how many proteins there are. And your body needs different proteins at different times in different amounts. And it always changes. Protein is body specific and individual specific. No one can tell you what protein you need, when you need it, or how much you need. But they've sold humans that lie. Humans have bought it. And it's all bullshit. There's so many rabbit holes I've been going down, man. I think I started off talking about cannibalism. I'm not even, that'll be another video. But, because if I start talking about that, it's probably be about 45 minutes long, could be an hour long. But cannibalism is an integral part of our society. Our society, the world was found on cannibalism. Cannibalism, ooh wee. But I ain't even gonna get into that. But you understand what I'm saying? At the root of all of this flesh and blood eating is cannibalism. You know why people eat animals today? You know why that's the thing? The reason people kill animals and eat animals today is because it's not a crime to kill an animal, but it's a crime to kill a human. Cannibalism has been going on for, I don't know, thousands of years, however far that, time goes back. Is it millions of years? I don't know. But however far you want to go back, you're going to find cannibalism. You go back to Neanderthal days. They used to kill and eat each other. It was just regular. They weren't doing it, for survival. They was just doing it. That's just what they did. The earliest archaeological evidence for cannibalism is found in Europe. Cannibalism was big amongst Europeans, and it still is. But see, today it's not socially acceptable. And like I said, you go to jail for killing a human. So their cannibalistic ways are being expressed through killing and eating animals, because flesh is flesh. Blood is blood. Telling y'all, man, this is deep. And so today in our society, all of these nutritionists, or at least the majority of these nutritionists, these people that, have these government positions, these people that are coming up with our nutritional guidelines, these people that are telling us that we need to eat animals for protein, these people that are teaching us how to eat are cannibals. And so I plan on doing a video about that. I don't even want to get too deep into that. But oh wait, this whole flesh and blood thing is deep. It's deep. Oh wait, they were eating human flesh back then and calling it meat back then. They called human flesh meat. So I'm a end that here. And I hope you liked it. Hope you got something from it. The main thing I would want you to take away from this is today, the people that are telling us that we need to eat animals for protein, the people that are telling us how to eat are cannibals. That's why people that eat flesh and blood get so mad at vegans when vegans speak out against it. These people are savages. They're barbaric. They are descendants of cannibals. And they have cannibalistic ways. They are cannibals themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Another thing I would like you to take away from this, and I would love to see people, to start doing this. But stop using euphemisms. Call things what they really are. The first thing they do to trick people into eating flesh and blood is they stop calling it flesh and blood, and they use euphemisms. Because if they just call it flesh and blood, if they call it rotten flesh, and if they say with parasites and feces, If that's on the front of the package, nobody's buying that. But if they use euphemisms and say meat, beef, steak, T-bone, Angus, porterhouse, ribeye, hamburger meat, hot dog, chicken nuggets, turkey, chicken tenders, wings, boneless chicken breast, sausage, bacon, ham, bologna, pastrami. Now people want to eat it, but it's the same rotten flesh. They just changed the name. They use euphemisms and now people want to eat it. You see that? So I stopped using the euphemisms long ago. If you use the euphemisms that they've taught us to use with the understanding that you have now, especially if you follow me, because I'm the only one talking about this. I've never heard anybody else say these things. So the handful of people, that follow me, that know about this, that heard me speak on this. Like, you're the only ones that have the knowledge, that have the truth. And you can stop playing the game. Stop playing alone. And that's a hard path to take. Because for me, if like we're in person and I don't say like family member, whatever, say they want to, eat some steak or, whatever, then I'm gonna have to tell them what it really is. That's not steak. That's rotten flesh. And it's full of parasites and feces and vaccines and antibiotics. I'm gonna have to be that guy. I do it online all the time. See, because only the truth can set people free. And I see a lot of people talk about how they want to, first, help themselves, get themselves together. Then they want to help their family. They want to help their friends. Well, if you want to do that, the truth is the only thing that can help them. You got to give them the truth. Nothing else can. Being nice ain't going to do it. Being kind, being compassionate, that's not going to do it. Being understanding is not going to do it. Watering down the truth is not going to do it. If you love them, you got to tell them the truth. And you can water down the truth if you want, but you're going to water down the results too. If you don't give them the truth, there's no chance of you being able to help them. And part of giving them the truth is you stop using those euphemisms and call things what they really are. Because most people don't even understand what they're eating. They think they're eating the euphemism. Like, people don't really understand they're eating the rotten flesh and blood off of a carcass that's full of parasites and feces. So if you're gonna be the light, then be the fucking light and tell them what they're really eating. Stop saying meat, steak, or what they're saying. You're supposed to be the light. You shouldn't be talking the same way they talk. So I'm gonna end that there, because I could keep going. I could easily do an hour. But for the 3 people that follow me, that like my long form content, here you go. Hope you like it. Everyone who watched it, I hope you liked it. I hope you got something from it. And, I hope that I communicated that in a way that was just, clear enough for you to understand. It's so deep.
I'm on the